Hello and welcome to the Inspire and Connect session, mini session number 2. Today, I'm super excited. We're starting off the session with a story. We are talking about an old Cherokee chief teaching his grandson about life. So a fight is going on inside of me, he said to the boy. It is a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and self-doubt. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, empathy, generosity, truth, and compassion and faith. The same fight is going inside of you and inside every other person too. The grandson then asks his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old chief simply replied, the one you feed. Rawr. Anyway, the key takeaway from the story to me isn't about good versus evil as much as it is about becoming aware of who you're feeding and how that is showing up in your life. Allow me to introduce you to the soul games. This is how I see and understand how we as humans navigate through life. I created the soul games as a strategic overview and layout to help you become aware of who you're feeding. This is in my book actually in a lot more detail, but for now, what you need to know is your soul learns who it is by living through the lens of either ego or spirit. One creates a state of empowerment and positive results in life, while the other creates a state of suffering and negative results in your life. Like the story of the wolf, you need to become aware of who you are listening to. So every moment of every day, you are feeding one of these. You are listening to one of these. Oops. Well, we don't want to see that right away. That will scare you. So the purpose of these mini sessions is to help you become self-aware. The first thing you need to be self-aware of is where in soul games you are sitting. So yesterday for homework, you were listing out some of your fears. I'm going to get you to pull that list out now. Looking at the list of fears in front of you, let's determine how much time with those fears you are feeling sad, angry, depressed, maybe feeling out of control. Perhaps you're daydreaming about a better life. Maybe you're worrying about the future. Maybe these fears on your list have you feeling distracted, maybe mindlessly surfing the internet and binge watching TV. It happens. Maybe it's got you involved in extra consumerism. That is a thing. Or perhaps even excess alcohol. Now, these are just a few examples, but take a moment and think about how much time those fears on your list have you spending time doing all those things I just listed. So I'm going to get you to add it up so that you come up with a number. But for demonstration's sake, let's say your number is 3 hours a day that you spend in angry or in sadness, anger, worrying about the future, binge watching TV, just basically numbing yourself. 3 hours a day at 365 days a year is 1,095 hours a year you're spending in suffering, and you don't even know about it. You divide that by 24 hours in a day, and all of a sudden, 3 hours a day has turned into 45 days a year that you are spending in SOS. Now, but there's always some good news. There's always a flip side. Now that you are aware of this, you can make some change. As I promised, you're going to start to become self-aware, and you are. Think of how much extra awesomeness you can create in your life using that time to make empowered decisions. So now that you are aware of sleepwalking and the soul games, you can see how easily it is to get caught up in a state of suffering. By the way, being a state of suffering isn't horrible. We need to have the experience of suffering so we know what empowered feels like. It's when we're deep down in that rabbit hole and can't get out, and we feel like we're like suffocating by darkness and despair. That is when being in a state of suffering is no longer serving you. That is your cue to shift out of the darkness and back into the light. So for homework, I want you to do a simple yet very effective exercise. You are going to set a timer. I know you have a phone or a microwave. You are going to set a timer for 60 minutes. Every 60 minutes, when your timer goes off, what I want you to do is take your little journal that you started last time, I know you did, and you are going to write down 2 words that describe how you're feeling in that moment. We're calling this a 2-word check-in. So every 60 minutes, beep, beep, you pull out your journal and write down what you're feeling. 2 words. So say you're feeling happy and content. Fantastic. What is causing you happy and content? You're sipping a glass of wine and snuggling with your dog. Brilliant. What if you were feeling angry and agitated? Why are you angry? Write down why you're angry. Maybe it's because your spouse drank all the wine. Maybe you're agitated because you're just tired of always feeling sick and tired. Whatever your truth is for you, and just be aware that every hour you might not feel the same. In fact, I'd be surprised if you did. You may notice a pattern of the same standing with ego in a state of fear, and all the words are different, or now you're having a different trigger keeping you standing there. But as a human being, you fluctuate throughout the day. So it's really important that you begin to pay attention to some of your triggers, when you feel up, when you feel down. So again, on the hour, every hour, you are doing a 2-word check-in. See you next time for session 3. Again, as always, thank you for coming out and participating with all your heart. You do the work, you're going to get the benefit. Take care for now.